It's Tuesday, May 30th, 2023. A lot to talk about today. Before we do, please make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell notification down below so that you are alerted when the newest videos drop. And share these videos everywhere with everyone. But without further ado, I want to get right into it today. Again, a lot to talk about, a lot happening. As most of you know, no deal today on the debt ceiling. And markets are waiting, anxiously waiting, hoping, praying that this debt ceiling gets raised so that $4 trillion gets injected into these markets. These markets don't care about inflation. They care about the cheap, easy money. And we're looking at another $4 trillion of money that's going to be printed, money that's going to be borrowed, money that you're going to be on the hook for, your kids are going to be on the hook for, your grandkids are going to be on the hook for. These markets don't care. They just want the cheap, easy money right now. Yet, every American is going to pay the price here. I think the deal is going to get done at some point, but how bad is it going to be? This is really, in my opinion, going to hurt a majority of this country because it's going to cause more inflation, more devaluation of the US dollar. Your standard of living is going to go down. I don't think that this deal is really going to benefit most people in this country. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see if it gets pushed through. Maybe somebody's got some guts here. I doubt it, but we'll see. But switching to something else here. Let's talk about this explosion in car repossessions. I was watching a couple videos last night, and two of these videos stood out to me. One of the videos, the channel's called, it's called Car Questions. Car Questions. And the guy that hosts this channel, his name is Brandon. And actually the channel is called Car Questions Answered. Host is Brandon. He's a used car dealer. And let me just clarify again, the channel name, Car Questions Answered. And I watched this video, and it was his last video, I believe, or one of his last videos. And he goes, I don't know what state this is in, but he goes to a car auction, a large car auction, and he points out 5 rows of cars that were repossessed by the bank. And one of the biggest amount of cars there was owned by Wells Fargo. They had the most cars there of any of the banks. And he also pointed out that not a majority, but a lot of Dodge Chargers and Challengers were in the group. And there was a Challenger or a Charger, I forgot which one, but it was completely keyed all the way around from top to bottom. So you know that the people or the person that owned this car knew the car was going to be repossessed. So what did they do? They destroyed the car before the bank repossessed it. And it just reminded me of what happened back in the day in the housing market when people were losing their homes. So many people would destroy their homes because they knew they were losing their homes. So they signed on the dotted line. They said they could afford the home, just like they said they could afford the car, and they signed on the dotted line, and then they don't make the payment, and they get mad at the bank, and they destroy the car or the house. Really, really sad. But we're going to see more of this take place. But it was absolutely alarming, the amount of cars at this auction. And that car that was destroyed already, only 9,000 miles on it, it was already destroyed. But very alarming to see how many cars were at this one auction. And he said that many of these cars, most of these cars that were repossessed by the bank, these were prime borrowers. And you could see the stickers in the windshield of what bank owned what cars. And Wells Fargo owned a majority of these cars. And Capital One was another bank. Then there were some other lenders there that did more subprime loans that owned some of these cars. But it was interesting to see the bank stickers on these windshields. You have to ask yourself that these cars, some of them had a lot of mileage on them, some of them didn't, but they're sitting in tow yards. Now they're at the auctions, so they're losing a lot of value. And how much are the banks going to lose because of these reckless auto loans that they made? And nobody's talking about that. We talk a lot about the commercial side of things, the commercial real estate. in those big office buildings that a lot of these banks lent on. But what about the billions of dollars in auto loans that people are now defaulting on? And this asset is a devaluing asset. It doesn't go up in value. Cars go down in value, especially when they're keyed, especially when they have 150,000+ miles on them. They're, running to the ground. And if people couldn't afford the car payment, could they afford to get the transmission service? Could they afford to get the oil changed? Could they afford to take care of these cars? No, a lot of them are really, really bad shape. And this stuff is losing value every day. And the banks are never going to get what they loaned out on these cars. So it's really a good video to watch. So check out the channel. I thought it was really, really good. I wanted to let all of you know that. But he also pointed out, Brandon pointed out, that what's not normal is the amount of big bank repos, prime credit borrowers that are sitting at these auctions now that he's seeing. And he was very, very shocked with what he saw, and I was stunned with what I saw. And we're going to see more of this taking place as more people continue to lose their jobs, as more people's savings is wiped out, their retirement accounts are wiped out. And at some point, they're going to be at the end of the rope when they no longer have anything left on their credit cards. And if people are losing their cars right now, how do they get to work? How do they function? How do they survive? How do they get to the grocery store? It's bad. It really is. Here's another channel. It's called Flying Wheels. This was also very interesting. And they pointed out the bank repos on the rise, tons of repos at the auction. Now, this gentleman who hosts the channel, I don't know his name, but it was a good, it seems like a good channel, and it was a good video. Check it out. But he said that he has people trying to buy cars from him, doing a credit check, saying that they've never had a repo when they just had their car repoed 5 days ago. So then they get caught, and then they go, oh, I didn't think it would show up. I didn't think it would show up on my credit this fast. And so think about this mentality of people. They got a car repoed 5 days later. They're trying to buy another car. Unbelievable. Think about the amount of credit that is being destroyed right now because of these purchases in the auto market. People's credit is being absolutely destroyed. If you owe $20,000 on a car and it gets repossessed, goes to the auction, and they get $10,000 for it, you're still on the hook for $10,000. They're coming after you for that $10,000. People are playing with dynamite here with their lifestyles, just running up credit cards, buying cars they couldn't afford. They're buying homes they can't afford. This is a ticking time bomb, ladies and gentlemen. People are going to be in a world of hurt here very soon. Many are right now, and they know it. Goldman Sachs is cutting jobs again amid Wall Street deals slump. Goldman preparing for the third round of layoffs to adjust to a slump in deals activity. Around 250 jobs will be trimmed. Remember, they released around 3,200 employees back in January. Morgan Stanley announced about 3,000 job cuts this month. JP Morgan cut another 500 last week. My question to all of you is, if everything is doing so well in the economy, why are the banks laying off so many people? Wouldn't they be hiring people if the housing market was doing so well, if the stock market was doing so well, if the economy was doing well overall? Wouldn't they be hiring people? What they're doing is they are laying off thousands upon thousands of people. And this, to me, is another barometer of what is happening to this economy right now. So they can tell you how good everything is, but the banks are laying off thousands of people. They can tell you how good housing's doing, but how many thousands of people did these banks lay off months ago in their mortgage department? Global debt soars again, this on the hedge. Global debt soared by $8.3 trillion in the first quarter of 2023, climbing to $305 trillion of global debt. This means almost 335% of GDP. So what else does it mean? Well, it means that your purchasing power is going to continue to erode, and expect taxes to rise. Higher inflation, higher taxes, larger budget cuts. Everyone is going to be affected by this. You know, people will write me and say, oh, more gloom, more doom, more gloom, more doom. I guess they don't understand what $305 trillion of debt represents. And no matter where you live, even if you live in Mayberry, you're going to be affected by this global debt, because somewhere along the line, you're paying more at the grocery store, you're paying more for a car, you're paying more to put fuel in that car, you're paying more for health insurance, you're paying more for auto insurance, you're paying more to use your cell phone. You're paying more for everything. Your utility bills at your house going up. Everything is going up. Governments are not going to reduce spending. You're going to have to reduce spending just in order to pay your utility bill. You're going to have to cut things out of your life now just to survive. Government spending, they don't care. They're going to keep spending and printing and taxing. But you, on the other hand, may have to eat less. You may have to buy a cheaper car, live in a smaller house, eat less food. You're going to have to make adjustments. But the government's going to spend more than ever. Again, they're not going to reduce spending. You're going to have to, because they just have absolutely no control. And there's big consequences of all this spending. Record debt, weaker growth, and massive amounts of inflation. Standard of living going down. People just don't want to realize. They don't want to face the facts. And the people that go, oh, it's more doom, it's more gloom, please comment down below and tell me where the great news is. I wish I had great economic news to share with you, but I'm going to be as real as I possibly can with you. You know, if you ask me, how's the weather today? And I look outside and there's a tornado coming, is it better to say, hey, it's sunny and rainbows and puffy white clouds, and not tell you that there's a tornado coming? I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a massive storm out there, and you better get ready for this, because if you don't, you're going to lose absolutely everything. But these people out here who just want to criticize and critique and judge by calling it doom and gloom, and well, what is it? It's reality. It's just reality. And I'm preparing for reality. And that's how people survive. That's how people prosper. That's how people create wealth. Usually it's created at the worst of times. The world's not coming to an end. It's not over. It's just going to change. It's evolving. And unfortunately, it's going to change drastically for people in a way that they weren't expecting. People just rely on other people. They rely on other people to manage their money. Oh, I have a financial advisor. Oh, the politician's looking out for me. My real estate agent's looking out for me. People don't want to take any responsibility for themselves. They want to put it in somebody else's hands. You must be educating yourself right now, especially financially. Do not trust other people with your money. Remember, most of these people work for these markets. They don't get paid to tell you to buy gold and silver. They get paid by selling you paper, by selling you into corporate America. You know, the corporate America that has the supercomputers, the corporate America that sits at the very top of the pyramid that's been ripping you off forever. That's who they work for. I would rather trust myself than somebody else, because most people aren't going to have your best interests at heart. That's for sure, especially when they're representing the corporate side and the big banks of America. Remember that. Here's another one from The Hedge. Dramatic video shows rogue pack of teens beating up Marines in California. So here we are, Memorial Day weekend. I think this happened on this past Sunday. San Clemente, California, Orange County, California, very South Orange County. Happy Memorial Day. What a disrespect to Marines there in San Clemente. So apparently a couple Marines were at the beach. This is in the evening, and some fireworks, I guess, were being shot in their direction. They asked some people not to, to please be respectful, not shoot these fireworks in their direction. And 30, 40 teens, I guess, took it the wrong way, and they started beating these Marines. It's unbelievable what is happening. Really unbelievable. And especially on Memorial Day, to do that to a couple Marines. What disrespect. Now, I was watching some videos from over the weekend, Memorial Day weekend in Las Vegas, Fremont Street. What a war zone Las Vegas has become, especially the Fremont Street area. There's multiple videos. You can look them up. Fights on the street, fights in bars. There's a Walgreens down there. private armed security, tasers, batons, guns, the whole thing, at a Walgreens down near Fremont Street. And there is a crowd of people trying to get in. They're verbally attacking the security. The police eventually show up. I don't know if they were trying to just flash mob the store or what, but they were detaining some people. The police showed up, chasing some people, but they literally had a 7-foot security guard there with a baton, armed at the door. And the crowd is just, verbally attacking this guy, taunting him. Very disturbing. Very, very disturbing. I mean, to think like you're in Vegas and you stop in at a Walgreens and you're dealing with this, it's absolutely incredible. But all hell breaking loose in Las Vegas. You have to ask yourself, what the hell is even going on? Why are people acting like this? Everybody wants to fight everywhere. I mean, it's incredible. Again, people on the street fighting down there and the bars fighting down there. Unbelievable. I'm going to finish with this last article, but before I do, going back to that, if you're in Vegas or you're down in South Orange County walking around on the beach, I hope and pray you're using situational awareness, because we are dealing with some very disturbing people out there. And most people have no idea, again, what is happening today. You could walk into a Walgreens, you could be walking around at the beach, and most people are not prepared to deal with this chaos. Most people become victims, and it's really, really sad. And, use situational awareness, ladies and gentlemen. Do everything you can to get your mind and body in better shape. Learn self-defense skills. Do some jiu-jitsu. Do some MMA. Do something so that you're just not an easy target. These people are looking for easy targets. People who are very weak, people who walk very weak, people who carry themselves in a very weak manner. They know what they're looking for. So, if you're a weak individual today, you need to stop being a weak individual, and you need to start getting in better shape. You need to be getting stronger mentally, physically, and spiritually. You need to start doing some jiu-jitsu, some boxing, some Muay Thai, some wrestling, anything. Start putting the odds in your favor. Start becoming a better, stronger human being. Don't allow yourself to be a victim. You can change today. Anybody can do it. We have choices. We can sit on the couch all day and eat, garbage food and watch Netflix and watch reality TV and just rot away on a couch. Or we can get up off the couch. We can eat a little bit better. Doesn't mean you have to eat perfect, but you can eat a little bit better. Start pushing some weight. Get into a gym and start rolling on those mats. Start learning how to box. Start learning how to be one of the hardest people in the room to kill. You can get out to the range, you can be working on tactics. There's always something you can be doing to be somebody other than a victim or a target. Last one I'm going to close with today. More than 1 in 4 American homeowners is house poor. These are people who are spending more than 30% of their income on their house. And this is very dangerous because prices of everything is continuing to go up. And as they do, as utilities go up, as home insurance goes up, the cost of living goes up, interest rates are going up, those utility payments are going up, taxes, everything. Everything is going up. And now that 30% plus, some people, 40, 42, 45% of their income going to a house, and the cost of everything around them is going up. And this is going to put a lot of pressure on these people. And just talking about, some more of these job losses today. Job losses, house poor, prices continuing to go up. This means more and more people are going to be forced to sell homes. We know what's happening with Airbnb right now. It is going to get much more difficult for the average person to go and rent a house for the weekend, take those, nice summer trips with the family. They're going to be cutting them short. Maybe they do it for a week instead of 2 weeks. Maybe instead of, taking a 3-week trip, they take a 2-week trip. But we're going to see less people able to afford to vacation, to rent those Airbnbs. And I know I was looking at some of the travel numbers over the weekend. They looked very, very good, and everything's fine. People are willing to pay more at the hotels right now. They're willing to pay more at the restaurants. But we know that a lot of this is being supported by credit cards. And sooner or later, those credit card limits are going to be maxed out, and people aren't going to be able to do the Airbnbs. They're not going to be able to buy the airline tickets. Look at what is happening right now. I mean, banks are laying off a lot of people, ladies and gentlemen. It's not because the economy's doing so well. We lost 70,000 restaurants over the past couple years. We're looking at 15,000 car repos a day in America. The auto auctions are flooded with car repossessions. Go to Vegas, make sure that you bring your boxing gloves and a mouthpiece or a plate carrier because you may need it. Or if you go to the beach in South Orange County, be careful. You may be taking your life in your own hands down there. So take a look at what is happening. This is heading in the wrong direction. So you have two choices. You can do nothing about it and say it's doom and gloom and sit on the couch and watch your reality TV and let your brain decay. Or you can get off the couch and you can prepare for reality, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. That's what I would do. That's what I'm doing right now. And I would never tell anybody out there or recommend to any of you to do something I'm not doing. For me, it's jujitsu 2 to 3 times a week. It's the gym 2 to 3 times a week. It's reading stuff like this every day and absorbing as much knowledge as possible. And it's giving thanks to God every night before I go to bed. For everything he's blessed me with, and praying for guidance, direction, and safety. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. God bless every one of you. I look forward to speaking with all of you very, very soon. And make sure to comment down below. We love the comments. Thousands of people read those comments every day. So please keep the comments coming, because that's where the real reality is in the comments. I want to know what's happening. We all want to know what's happening in your area. What are you seeing? What's happening with your friends? What's happening with the retailers? What's happening in housing? What is happening with jobs? Let us know. Comment down below. God bless.